humans have an unconscious, in which sexual and aggressive impulses are in perpetual conflict for supremacy with the defenses against them. In 1897, he began an intensive analysis of himself. In 1900, his major work, The Interpretation of Dreams, was published, in which Frued analyzed dreams in terms of unconscious desires and experiences.
Todd Dufresne is one of the most innovative thinkers in the history of psychology, an egomaniac who propagated pseudoscientific theories. He proposed that people are motivated by unconscious desires and repressed memories, and their problems can be addressed by making those motivations conscious through talk therapy. Frued's was private practice treated women who suffered from what was called hysteria at the time, and their complaints had been not taken seriously at all. Frued was convinced that our behavior is shaped by unconscious urges and repressed memories. He invented baseless unconscious.
Hello everyone, my name is Loveline Grace Malvar, and I'm going to share to you the summarization of history versus Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud begins his career as a neurologist before pioneering the discipline of psychoanalysis. He tackled issues medicine refused to address. His private practice treated women who suffered hysteria at the time. Freud was an innovator, linking many ideas across many fields. But the history opposed to Freud. The history said he invented baseless unconscious or irrational drivers behind the behavior of trauma survivors and caused real harm. He misinterpreted some of his most famous case studies, claiming his treatment had cured patients where in fact they had gotten worse. He built his theories or scientific ideas that were outdated even in his own time. Many of Sigmund Freud's ideas don't hold up to modern science, and his clinical practices don't meet today's ethical standards.
Hello sir, I'm Jovinette de los Reyes Ananuevo from 133 BSHM. History or Sigmund Freud? Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, was a psychologist, medical doctor, psychologist, and influential thinker of the early 20th century. Sigmund Freud divided human consciousness into three levels of awareness: the conscious, preconscious, and unconscious. Each of these levels corresponds and overlaps with his ideas of the id, ego, and superego.
Todd is an Australian neurologist born in the month of May 6, 1826 and died September 23, 1939, and the founder of psychoanalysis. In the founding psychoanalysis, he developed therapeutic techniques such as the use of free association and discovery transference, wherein he established a central role in analytic process. Freud elaborated his theory of unconscious and went on to develop a model psychic structure comprising the id, superego, and ego. Freud, with his friend and collaborator, make a treatment for a patient under hypnosis wherein the patient will talk about her symptoms and then it reduced severity. But later on, Freud abandoned hypnosis using consistent and effective way could be achieved by encouraging patient to talk freely, which is called free association.
Good day everyone, my name is Loe Angeles Rica Blanca and my topic for today is all about history versus Sigmund Freud. His influence towers above that of all other psychologists in the public eye, but was Sigmund Freud right above human nature, and were his method scientific one of the most innovative thinkers in the history of psychology, and who suffered from what was called hysteria at the time. Freud's private practice treated women from the women with depression at treated initially to acknowledge their psychological disorder was real.
Sigmund Freud was an Australian neurologist who perhaps most known as a founder of psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud emphasized the importance of unconscious mind and a primary assumption of Freudian theory. He divided human unconscious into three levels of awareness: the conscious, preconscious, and unconscious. These levels correspond and overlap with his ideas of the ID, ego, and super.
To biologists working with a brain cell and biologists analyzing experimental data, Freud ideas of subnuclearian mental forces often the same state.
Sigmund Freud emphasized the importance of unconscious mind, and primary assumption in Freudian theory is that unconscious mind governs behavior to a greater degree than people suspect. Indeed, the goal of his psychoanalysis is to make the unconscious conscious. Freud believed that events in our childhood have a great influence of our adult, shaping our personality. For example, anxiety originating from traumatic experiences in the person's past and hidden from consciousness and myth.
Sigmund Freud is one of the most innovative thinkers in the history of psychology. He tackled issues medicine. He convinced that our behavior is shaped by unconscious and repressed memories.
What I have learned in History versus Sigmund Freud, his most important contribution was probably the simple claim that many of our behaviors are motivated by unconscious, often unpleasant desires. He created the psychoanalytic theory of personality, but beyond this, he probably changed our understanding of humanity, thought, and culture.
I learned that Frued is best remembered for two applied works in society: The Future Illusion and Civilization in its Discontents. Also, Frued was a product of his era. Some of his ideas were fluid, but he created a new space for future scientists to explore, investigate, and build upon. Moreover, as psychiatrists today only believe in a cognitive unconscious, for the fact that you are not aware when everything was going on. Thus, Freud took this idea to describe deep meaning on everything.
The lesson that I've learned there is don't think yourself too high and claim that everything you do is right before someone else put in harm because of you. Like what Fruit... Wag mo na dagdagan, tama na yun!
In my understanding, in the video of History versus Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist and creator of psychoanalysis, the mind has different levels of reality cognition. The perception of the reality depends on level of awareness of the mind, and in which some parts of the mind are deeper than others, depending on how complicated the syntax of the work and how much will connected towards it, so that he gave the word conception in it, and age superego as a lawyer with an as of.
Hello sir, I am Jovelyn de los Reyes Anunuevo from 1D3 BSHM. History or Sigmund Freud, based on his clinical experience with female hysterics, that the most insistent source of breastfed material was sexual in nature. In the conclusion of the book, Frued gives an insight into the malady that makes us raise status and monuments.
From history and psychoanalysis, I learned that if a woman experiences a molestation from his childhood, which is cause of unconscious memories, it is called hysteria. The three parts of our personality is the id, ego, superego, and driven by unconscious energy. Id is the only creates, demands, and the superego admiralty to the action taken, and the ego is the constant to struggle to balance the two.
I've learned in this theory that Sigmund Freud was a neurologist who explained the unconscious of one person, and it helped to find way to medicate the person who have unconscious mind. And his theory helped in science and also in psychology. Nowadays, this theory was used, and also it helped very much to all those people who encounter these symptoms by not drinking, or any applied medication.
Good day everyone, my name is Lowe Angel Esrica Blanca, and my learning about history versus Sigmund Freud is Sigmund Freud claimed that his work, scientific and behavior, is the result from unconscious mind together with the wrong outcome, cause of misapplication of certain perception of Sigmund Freud. Although the one who invented the scientific theory can have a mistake just like Freud. Instead of cure of help a person who's dealing with the mental problem, he just make it worse because of misapplication of his process, where he knew that this is the one that right thing to do. That's all. Thank you.